Nordic Souls 3 and its PBR fork, for those that can run it, are the best mod lists I have ever used for Skyrim. So good, I decided to make a video about it. I've been using automatic download mod lists through a program called Wabberjack for a few years now. Skyrim modding has become so complicated on PC, and I cannot create mod lists anywhere near as beautiful, stable, and modernized as the most popular Wabberjack mod lists. And all of the mod lists I've used in these past years, the one that has impressed me the most is Nordic Souls 3 by Geborgen, I hope I've said that right, and to be more specific, Nordic Souls 3 PBR, a fork of Nordic Souls 3 by Scrubby Scrubbiness Shrub and Meteor. An update to the main list that adds community shaders with PBR textures, support for various weathers, and many more mods to elevate Nordic Souls visuals to the absolute best they can be. Nordic Souls 3, which was released about a month ago with major graphical improvements compared to its previous version, still didn't look as good as my modified version of NGVO by Biggie Boss. Nordic Souls has always been considered one of the best lists on Wabberjack, however I found myself choosing lists with more impressive graphical improvements that get the most out of my graphics card and CPU. Don't let the name of the mod list make you think it turns Skyrim into Dark Souls, it does not. It modernizes combat to make it play more like Dark Souls when engaging in third-person melee combat specifically, but the difficulty is not drastically increased to a level where it is as difficult as a Souls game. Skyrim, of course, still has difficulty modifiers if you do find it more challenging than vanilla. I should say all of the info I gathered for this video comes from the Nordic Souls 3 GitHub and Discord server. With that said, the official preamble written on the Nordic Souls GitHub reads, Nordic Souls is a comprehensive visual and gameplay overhaul designed to modernize Skyrim while staying true to the game's Nordic theme. It provides a perfect balance between plenty of new content, a complete Simon Rim gameplay overhaul, and beautiful yet performance-friendly visuals. Despite the name, this list does not attempt to turn Skyrim into Dark Souls. This list is focused on modernizing Skyrim, not turning the game into something else. Everything about the game is improved, but still recognizably Skyrim. Tons of new quests have been added, and loads of new gear is naturally integrated on top of a beautiful and customizable graphics overhaul. You'll also find a lightweight gameplay overhaul that improves mechanics whilst adding new cool features. No matter what, you'll always find something to do, so have fun. During my time playing the mod list, specifically the PBR version, I can say that the description is accurate. Nordic Souls 3 is a very much upgraded version of Skyrim. Many people would use the term Vanilla Plus, which describes mod lists that enhance the base game rather than attempting to turn it into a whole new experience. In all of the hours that I have played Nordic Souls 3 PBR edition, I have only experienced one crash. That's pretty good for a mod list with over 1,000 mods. And the list has literally just had its first version released, so I imagine any crashes will be addressed pretty quickly. Nordic Souls PBR specifically was created to take full advantage of community shaders and the mods that have been specifically designed to be used with it. The aim is not performance, but fidelity, and thus will be heavier to run. You might be wondering what community shaders is. CS, we'll call it, is a fan-made open source shader framework created for the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Special Edition and Fallout 4. It's essentially a modern replacement for older graphics mods like ENB. Instead of relying on a single developer's closed system, CS is built collaboratively by modders and is fully open source. What does it do to games? Well, it improves visuals, better lighting, shadows, reflections, ambient occlusion, etc. It's performance friendly, designed to run faster than ENB, often with less of a performance hit. It's modular and customizable. Players can pick and choose which shader effects to enable. It's actively updated. Since it's community driven, it evolves quickly with new effects. So that explains community shaders. What is PBR? Meteor, one of the creators of the PBR edition of Nordic Souls, explained it as PBR, physically based rendering, is just a smarter way of making things look real in a game. Think of it like toy blocks. Old graphics, you painted the block red and that's it. It always looks the same, no matter the light. PBR graphics, you say, this block is made of shiny plastic, or this one is rough wood. Then the game figures out how light bounces off it. So instead of artists faking shiny versus dull, rough versus smooth, the system knows the material and makes it act like it would in real life when light hits it. For Skyrim community shaders, the PBR update means armor, rocks and walls can look like actual metal, stone and wood instead of just flat colours with some fake shininess slapped on. Nordic Souls 3 PBR does more than just add CS and mods that are designed to be used with it. It also improves the grass, extends mesh fixes, swaps the Lux mod for true light, and uses the simplicity of the sea mod for water because it plays well with CS. It also adds extra armors and new character overhauls. The PBR edition also comes with different weather profiles, allowing you to choose between Astrolite, Astrolite 3 Enhanced, Obsidian HDR and real weathers. The gameplay footage you are seeing, I'm using Astrolite 3 Enhanced. It is meant to be used with HDR. I typically use HDR, but for the sake of recording gameplay for this video, I did not use HDR. But you could and should use it if you have access to it with this mod list. Nordic Souls is fully safe for work. Mods like CBBE with the 3BA add-on with physics are included with a realistic preset, but never nude options are enabled and there are no skimpy armors or overly sexualized body meshes. Sorry to the gooners out there. Nordic Souls uses the Simon Rim suite of mods, which includes mods by Simon as well as Delta and many other authors. All of these mods provide a consistent gameplay experience that fits perfectly into the list. It's semi-vanilla plus, but also quite refreshing. The vanilla boss fights and enemies have been revamped. Each Dragon Priest gives Alduin a different buff, so you should hunt down all of the Dragon Priests for an easier fight with Alduin. Same goes for Mirak. The Solstheim Dragon Priest will buff him unless killed. There is one Dragon Priest called Valok that will buff him, however. I'm sure there are lore reasons for that. You can take on these familiar adventures and explore some new lands and quests as well. You'll find more interesting Draga fights and harder dragon fights. You'll find loads of new armor and weapon variants and overhauled artifacts. You can find vendors that sell new and exciting spells and potions and other things. Gameplay is more difficult than vanilla, but also fair. For example, dragons are much harder, but you don't have to fight them randomly until you kill Saloknir. Draga are more powerful, but barely use shouts anymore. You won't be able to cheese your way through everything. Simon Rim provides a lot of tools for preparation and buffs, which you should use to have an easier time. Just a few things that I personally wanted to call out that I think should help you overcome any additional challenge are a new perk tree added by a mod called Storm Crown. When you complete your training at High Hrothgar and the Greybeards officially recognize you as the Dragonborn, you will receive a lesser power called Meditate. Using the Meditate power will cause your character to enter a meditative pose and will grant you access to a new Dragonborn perk tree. You acquire new perks for the Dragonborn perk tree by killing dragons and absorbing their souls. Completing the Dragonborn perk tree requires that you kill 50 dragons and consume their souls. Note that these souls are not consumed by the perk tree, and you are still free to use them to unlock or upgrade shouts. The Gourmet mod adds new and more powerful foods, so don't ignore cooking. There are many new spells to look out for that could help you. The Pilgrim mod changes the blessing you get from praying to a divine. You now get buffs, but no longer have your diseases cured. There are priests that can be found that sell things that would allow you to cure your diseases. Perk overhauls will force you to think of new builds and change the way all skill trees work. The Arena mod is a complete overhaul of Skyrim's encounter zones designed to increase the game's difficulty and provide an organic sense of progression. It is designed to further the sense of progression in the game by tiering dungeons according to enemy type. This encourages the players to make judgments about the difficulty of an encounter based on experience and intuition, rather than consulting a complex chart on a mod page. This approach allows Arena to provide players with a more robust sense of progression while retaining the freedom and independence of an open world game. Biggie traits provide a unique trait system. Once you create your character, you can use the select traits power. A decent amount of overpowered traits were cut or rebalanced. However, the included traits should provide a lot of build variety, allowing you to min-max in certain areas. For example, I chose perks that would allow me to shoot my bow faster while above a certain health threshold, but reduced speed when under the threshold. Good for a glass cannon range build that doesn't intend on ever getting hit. You can now dodge if you have the agility perk unlocked in the light armor tree. I would highly recommend fully, and I mean fully, reading through the gameplay guide on the modlist's GitHub page to learn all about the most important changes and updates. It will take you about 15 minutes, maybe more if you decide to look into each specific mod, but it really is worth doing to learn how the modlist plays and the differences versus vanilla Skyrim. The modlist includes a gamepad support. It's the best gamepad support I've experienced with any modlist. You just have to enable it in Mod Organizer 2 under a section called Gamepad Support. I will say that the wheeler mod can be a little bit complicated and will require you to use the keyboard sometimes if you want to make changes to your wheels and set them up initially. So I would definitely recommend checking out the key bindings for this mod list to see how the wheeler mod works. To enable gamepad support, you just have to enable it in Mod Organizer 2 under a section called Gamepad Support. The list also has optional mods. I personally disabled Lorcan, the soundtrack replacer by Young Scrolls. Listen, I love Young Scrolls, I just find the Lorcan combat music a bit too intense for my taste. Some quests have been changed, such as the extended cuts of the Saints and Seducers creation. Quest requirements have also been altered, meaning you must reach certain levels before certain quests can be started via the Timing is Everything and Delayed Quest Start mods. Timing is Everything also makes changes to some random encounters. There are now requirements for entering the Thieves Guild. Brynjolf won't just attempt to recruit you until you have done a bit of dirty work, pickpocketing and stealing. Survival mode has been made much more lightweight. The effects of being cold have been drastically changed. The warmth stat from clothes now gives you cold resistance, which increases the time you can spend in cold regions without receiving debuffs. The debuffs also no longer reduce your health, they affect your movement speed and stamina, among lots of other changes. See the Starfrost mod page for full details. There are also a few high quality DLC sized quests included in the mod list, with a bunch of smaller adventures as well. Overall, there are dozens of hours of new content for you to experience, including new followers. If you plan on downloading the list after watching this video, then I feel like I've succeeded. Shout out not just to the authors of the lists, but also all of the separate mod authors that create the 1000 plus mods used in the list. Don't forget to endorse the mods and the list itself on Nexus Mods if you end up playing it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll talk to you in the next video.